Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our show, The Cabral Concept. Looking forward to getting into this Total Wellness Tuesday episode and going over the signs and symptoms of low testosterone, as well as what can you do to boost it. Now, remember that testosterone is not just a male hormone. Yes, men have more testosterone typically than women, but here is the deal. We all need testosterone levels at an optimal level, not too high and not too low, in order to live the healthiest and longest life possible. But one other thing that testosterone does for both men and women, it leads to a much better quality of life. However, things such as hormones are best left in balance. This is why I also want to talk about on today's show the danger of using many biological, or as they call them, bioidentical hormones. Very difficult for your body to function at an optimal level if you are putting in a synthetic-based hormone that then shuts down the production of your own natural testosterone. We have many men and some women out there right now using a lot of these so-called bioidentical hormones and not realizing the repercussion of them. Now, I do understand that there are a certain segment of the population that absolutely does need some type of hormone-based replacement. Oftentimes, it has to do with a loss or cessation of testosterone for various reasons. But in my opinion, too much is being used, too much is being prescribed by what, some doctors call themselves a functional medicine doctor or a bioidentical hormone doctor or whatever it might be. And, what they do is they look at your levels and then they give you estrogen and progesterone, testosterone, and what other hormones you may need. Here's the problem with that, though, is that it stops your own endogenous production of testosterone. When that happens, the older you are, the less likely you are to get that back, which means that you really can't ever come off those hormones unless, of course, you're working with a practitioner that can help you to get them back when you've shut down your body's own natural production for too long. This is also why it's vitally important that we tell our children not to use anabolic steroids, that they don't use testosterone boosters, because there's a lot of detrimental-based side effects. I'm not going to go into the side effects today of using steroids or anabolic hormones or even a lot of the testosterone replacement therapy right now. Again, am I totally against testosterone replacement therapy? I am not. For certain individuals, in certain cases, there's always a case, no doubt about it. But for the most part, we have too many young guys in their 30s and 40s going on testosterone replacement. And then we have a lot of women in their 40s and 50s being put on testosterone by doctors obviously well-meaning, trying to make them feel better because testosterone gives you a better quality of life, better mood that we're going to talk about. But what I want to share with you today is we can do this naturally. We have many, many before and after labs. They're called adrenal hormone labs that will show you your testosterone before and then using all natural methodologies, no hormone replacement, to boost those levels back up. So I'm going to try to make this concise. I just recently taught this in the Integrative Health Practitioner course and it's actually the certification for level 2. And I want to bring some of that information to you today. So let's dive right into it. What are some of those symptoms and signs of low testosterone, or low T, as people say? Well, one of the biggest ones is mood. So really like low confidence, lower mood, lower drive, lower ambition. Now that can be a lot of things, right? But it can also have to do with lower testosterone. So we want to look at that. What about really an inability to put on muscle, like a good amount of muscle, boost your metabolism, burn body fat? Well, what we want to do is we want to check our testosterone levels. Essentially, what we're doing is process of elimination, because this could be low thyroid, it could be adrenal, it could be testosterone. It can be multiple factors. So we want to look at that. Toxicity, water retention from stress. So a lot of things to look at. Blood sugar dysregulation. So I'm going to go through those with you today, no doubt about it. Higher levels of testosterone can lead to better levels of energy. So really important to notice that as well. In women specifically, women that have lower levels of testosterone could actually be more prone to hot flashes during menopause. Important, again, another important factor to look at. Osteoporosis, lower bone mass, absolutely goes along with the muscle mass loss and the bone mass too. Lower libido, lower drive, lower just get up and go in general. I mean, that's really it. That's one of the hallmarks of low testosterone is just not a lot of confidence, libido, drive, ambition, any of those things. That's kind of what we call more of that alpha hormone. And so the worse off most people are. Now, should we bring that to very high levels? No, because at the same time, high levels of testosterone could lead to things such as hair loss or facial hair gain in women or thickening of the skeletal structure of the face above the eyebrows and of the chin. It can lead to a thickening of the skin. It can lead to gynecomastia in men, which is essentially breast tissue growth. It can lead to sensitivity around the nipples. So we do want to look at that, meaning like there's always about balance, right? But I just want to give you a few of these items here today. In men, we can have a reduction in testis size and actually a reduction in total semen production as well. So a few others, I mentioned the hair loss because of the potential, especially in men, for testosterone at too high a level, or just in general, some men are more prone to it, of converting testosterone to a substrate called dihydrotestosterone, DHT. And this can actually lead to hair loss as well. But there is also a study from 2012 showing that too low a testosterone level can also lead to hair loss. So again, it's always about balance. Always go back to that. So really important. This is mainly in women. We want to look at that, but certainly important to look at. I'm going to give you why I also believe that was. I'll link that up today in the study. I'm happy to do that. Link up that study too, because I always want to find balance, right? I don't want to go overboard in any one direction. And for the most part, the higher the testosterone we see, sometimes the greater conversion to DHT as well as estrogen, and then facial hair growth or thickening of facial hair growth in men and then women as well. So important for us to look at all of these specific items. A couple of things just with the higher cholesterol that I want you to be aware of is it can lead to higher cholesterol, higher blood pressure, diabetes, and a lot more stress, irritability, rage, anger. So what can we do though? What can we do in order to, lower testosterone? I can give you those. These are not things that you want to be doing, but I certainly want to share that with you. What could be lowering testosterone? Now, the number one thing that we see in our practice is chronic stress. Chronic stress elicits the fight or flight response. This elicits the sympathetic nervous system dominance. Sympathetic nervous system. When this happens, our body gives preferential treatment. It shifts us into the survival-based state, which then produces more norepinephrine, epinephrine, which are called catecholamines. They're stress hormones. Then we produce something called glucocorticoids under chronic stress. This is going to shuttle more glucose into the bloodstream, whether it be by a process called glycolysis, where we're breaking down liver glycogen or other forms of glycogen in the body, or we can actually manufacture and make our own sugar out of amino acids and protein, which again is why there's a lot of fallacies to these keto and carnivore-based diets. Okay, chronic stress, number one thing that's going to lower testosterone over time. In the initial phase, we might see a jump in testosterone as that alpha get up and go charge. It's one of the 7 stages of HPA axis dysfunction, or some people just refer to as adrenal-based fatigue, but it's really maladaptation of the stress cycle. I've talked about that on a previous show. I go in depth in the integrative health practitioner with this. So here's the thing though. What else would it be besides stress? Let's look at that. Well, the more weight you gain, typically the lower the testosterone. I'm talking about body fat gain, adipose tissue gain. Okay, blood sugar dysregulations. We talked a little bit about that, but highs and lows in blood sugar will lower testosterone over time. Consuming processed food, processed flour, okay, high fructose corn syrup. The processed foods will spike the blood sugar, and the high fructose corn syrup will create quite a response in inflammation, right? Inflammaging. The body ages and testosterone dips and drops with the more hydrogenated oils and high fructose corn syrup we take in. Okay, a low-fat diet will decrease levels oftentimes in total cholesterol production, but that can also lower testosterone as well. Okay, not enough sleep. If you do not sleep enough, typically less than 7 hours per night, men and women, you're going to decrease levels of testosterone. Not a good thing, especially since that relates to more of a stress-based pattern. You didn't give yourself enough downtime in order to boost our anabolic hormones, our sex hormones such as DHEA, testosterone, and beneficial forms of progesterone and estrogen. Any type of toxic consumption, pesticides, phthalates, parabens, anything BPA or plastic-based will actually raise estrogen in the body, and it will decrease testosterone. Not ideal. And low antioxidant intake. Over time, not taking in enough of the antioxidants from fruit and vegetables will not allow you to combat the oxidative stress that leads to inflammation. Your body can get away with a lot in the short term, but don't expect it to do that forever. You will start to see the fine lines and the wrinkles and the spots on the skin and the dry, flaky skin and the hair loss and thinning of the hair and nails and skin over time. Remember, body can get away with a lot of different excessive exercise and really low carb diets and all these things for some time, but eventually that becomes a greater stressor on the body as well. Okay, remember, it's not just about moderation, it's about balance. It's always about balance, okay? So now let's talk about what do we do to raise testosterone. Okay, let's talk lifestyle first, and then I will give you exactly what we do in our practice to boost testosterone naturally. Okay, here's what we do. Lifestyle-wise, we need to get those 7 to 8 plus hours of sleep a night. There's a reason why bodybuilders aim for 8 to 9 plus hours of sleep, maybe even a mid-afternoon nap. The reason you do that is to boost growth hormone naturally, boost testosterone naturally. By, just the exact effect is you decrease cortisol, you decrease stress hormones. When you do that, then you get into more of an anabolic building-based phase. But as long as you're in a catabolic, stress-based phase, you'll not be building muscle. And you also won't be boosting metabolism, and you also won't be boosting testosterone. Okay, what else can we do? Well, exercise is one of the best ways to boost testosterone. Sprinting, lifting weights, doing specific exercises such as squats, deadlifts, step-ups, lunges, all of those will boost testosterone because you're working your lower body, which contains more than 2/3 of the muscle in your body. Remember, the glutes are the largest muscle in the body. There is only one bone in the upper leg, as in your femur. All of the rest of that is muscle mass, should be muscle mass, and that's going to keep that metabolism stoked and elevated. So remember, going for a jog, going for a bike, after a certain period of time, when you're already trained in that discipline, it's not going to boost, it's not going to work those muscles the same way. It's going to be more cardiovascular, which means it's going to work your heart and lungs before it would ever burn out your legs. Plus, you want to hit those fast twitch muscle fibers, okay, fast twitch muscle fibers, as in the ones that you would use for sprinting and short bursts of work that would take less than 90 seconds. All right, other things that help. If you are open to eating animal-based products, well, grass-fed animal-based protein, pastured-based animal protein, pastured-based eggs, all of those will work. Wild-caught fish, those will work. If you are more on a vegan-based diet, what also helps are avocados, the organic, first pressed in a dark bottle olive oil. Coconut oil will help. Coconut cream will work as well. Raw nuts, sprouted nuts, and seeds also help to boost testosterone. Cruciferous-based veggies, getting your greens in as well as your cruciferous-based vegetables will help. And as I said before, although fruit and other good healthy starches don't necessarily boost testosterone, they lower cortisol and stress, which means then when that's lowered by the opposite hand, it can then boost testosterone. So don't overlook that as well. Meditation has been proven to boost DHEA. I wrote about it in the rain barrel effect. If you can boost DHEA, you're going to be able to boost testosterone. Going in a sauna will help. Anything that shifts you to the parasympathetic nervous system, doing Epsom salt baths will help for a couple reasons. One, it's relaxing. Number two, you get more magnesium in. We'll talk about magnesium when we get to the supplementation in just a moment. Right now, focused on what we can do lifestyle-wise. Decreasing emotional-based stress, the anger, the irritability, the lower mood. Doing that will also help to boost those positive-based hormones. It will decrease stress overall. Doing a detox to eliminate the heavy metals, to eliminate anything that causes free radical damage. So the stored PCBs, the stored BPA plastics in the body. We know that as you begin to detox, you ramp up phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification, which then allows you to remove these items from your body. If you do that, by the same token, you're going to be able to raise natural testosterone levels. And that's what we're talking about, raising testosterone naturally. There's a reason why when you look at natural health and natural-based protocols, you can boost testosterone levels without having to use the bioidenticals. Now again, I'm not coming down on anyone. I'm not coming down on any doctors that's prescribing it right now. If you need to do it, I understand. But if you haven't gone through all the natural methodologies, there's no way that you should be putting a synthetic testosterone into your body. There's just no way. If it's not your testosterone, don't put it in your body, okay? For right now. And you can't get testosterone directly from food, so we can't say that can happen. We can't give you a testosterone vitamin, right? It's not going to happen. So what we can do is we can give you some natural supplementation. What do we know that naturally boosts testosterone? Well, I'm going to give you a few things. So a few things that everybody knows about. Well, I shouldn't say everybody knows about, but boosting your vitamin D levels to at least 40 to 50 nanograms per milliliter will help boost testosterone. Another one is zinc. Zinc is the number one mineral you can take as an anabolic mineral to boost testosterone naturally. Okay. Another mineral that's an absolute all-star at boosting testosterone, magnesium. Try to go with the full spectrum magnesium, which gives you multiple forms of magnesium for maximum availability and absorption. Okay. In terms of zinc, I would look for a zinc picolinate. There's other great forms out there as well. Just make sure that it's a chelated, absorbable form of zinc in order to absorb it. We use balanced zinc in order to keep copper and zinc balanced. If you run a hair tissue mineral analysis and you see that you have higher levels of copper than zinc, then you use a straight zinc picolinate. We'll link all those up today at the show notes. What is today's show? Today is episode 1173. So head on over to stephencabral.com/1173 for the research articles, the notes from today, and the links from today to all of these different nutritional supplements and everything else as well, Epsom salt, etc. All right. So we know zinc helps. We know vitamin D helps. We know magnesium helps. A big one, vitamin C. Vitamin C helps with sperm count. It helps with boosting testosterone. It helps with free radical damage. It helps with detoxification. It's an amazing little antioxidant in its own right. It's a recycler of other more powerful antioxidants such as vitamin E, glutathione, and even selenium. Vitamin C is an all-star. It's my belief everybody should take a little bit every day. I use the full spectrum vitamin C every day. One at breakfast, one at dinner. I don't even think about it. It's done. It's easy. It's simple. And then, of course, you can use higher dosages if you run an organic acids test and you see you are low on vitamin C. And we use alkalizing vitamin C. At that point, simply 1 scoop in the morning. Very, very easy. And it will give you 2.5 grams. Okay, let's move on to another one. B vitamins. If you are low on your B vitamins, you are not going to be able to properly combat stress. If you can't properly combat stress, you can't boost your testosterone. Simple, easy. We use an activated B complex, or if you're already using the daily nutritional support or a product like that with a full activated B complex in there, that means the methylated, absorbable forms of B vitamins, not the more synthetic forms such as cyanocobalamin or folic acid. Those ones you don't want, okay? Especially if you have any of the genetic MTHFR gene-based mutations, okay? Really important to look at that. Just a couple more I want to give you. These are absolutely unbelievable, and most people don't know about them. They're difference makers, in my opinion. Anybody with lower levels of testosterone, we give them a product called Adrenal Soothe. But remember, you can always use whatever product you decide. That's never the issue with me. But you have to know why they work. Don't just take supplements because it's the new cool thing. Don't do that. Use the products based on what it contains in there, based on the functional medicine-based formulation, based on what's absorbable and at the right dosage. So in Adrenal Soothe, what are you getting? Because you can use a different formula if you want, but you need to know it's at the right dosage and that it's clean, right? That it's safe for you to use. So here's what's in the Adrenal Soothe. You've got rhodiola, you have eleuthero, but more importantly, you have ashwagandha, you have L-theanine in there, that's important, but you have ashwagandha and you have phospholyserine. Why are those important? Because if you take one at lunch and two at dinner, it's going to start to lower the end of the day cortisol like it's supposed to be. And if you lower it, you get a deeper level of sleep. But also, as we're lowering cortisol, then testosterone can go back up. That's what it's all about. It's all about balance, right? It's all about balance. One more that people are enjoying out there is cordyceps. So I'll just throw that in there as an extra bonus. It wouldn't be the first one that I would go with, certainly not. But if you're like, hey, I want to use everything, then you can throw that in as well. So that is exactly what we do in our practice. I've told you from the very beginning, I will never hold back on exactly what I do in my practice. My colleagues think I'm absolutely out of my mind for sharing the exact protocols of how we've helped people get well, rebalance their body over the last 20 years. Not quite 20 years, but we're getting there. And over 250,000 client appointments. They say, why don't you just keep this for yourself? You'll be able to help people and people have to come to you. That's not the goal here. That's not the goal at all. The goal is to be able to share this information with as many people as possible, and so that we can open source this, so that we can share it with others, so that they can start to get these own results. Because I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of people, they will never have been given the option by their doctor to try to boost their testosterone naturally, male or female. And when you do it naturally, you also correct the reasons of why you had low testosterone in the first place, which is more important. Because remember, even if you take the bioidentical hormone, you never figured out why it was low in the first place. And it was most likely low in the first place because of inflammatory fats, right? Increased prostaglandins. You take an omega-3 test for that. You might have had higher levels of cortisol. You can take an adrenal hormone test to figure out exactly what your testosterone levels are. Remember, there's no need to ever guess anymore. If you want to know your testosterone levels, if you want to know your levels of stress, if you want to know whether you're estrogen dominant, which I'll be doing a podcast on that as well, run the adrenal hormone test. For extra credit, run the thyroid adrenal hormone, because then you'll get your vitamin D, you'll get your T4, T3, TSH, and TPO thyroid numbers. You'll also get your insulin and hemoglobin A1C. Not a better test out there for looking at all the hormones in your body. It's amazing. It's amazing. And then you get a personalized plan for you. A lot of companies out there tell you they're going to personalize your vitamin and mineral and supplement protocol. They won't. They really can't unless they get all of that data. Okay. Amazing lab. The other one that you could run is the organic acids test, just to look at your vitamin C, to look at your detoxification ability, to look at gut function, to look at all those B vitamins. Remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. So that is it. We're just trying to get the information to people however we can. If you're able to help me pass on this message, I would really appreciate it. That's what it's all about. People ask me all the time, how can I give back? How can I help you for getting this information out? Honestly, the best thing is this. If you know someone with a lot of the symptoms that we just went over right now, if you know someone that's been struggling for weeks, months, or years to take back control of their mind or their body, this is it. This is how you're going to help them. Simply pass on the information. It's completely free. It's free every day. And I plan not to stop in the near distant future. That's for sure. We'll keep on going. Today is episode 1173. So just head on over to StephenCabral.com/1173. We'll link up the thyroid adrenal hormone lab, the adrenal hormone lab, the organic acids test, the hair tissue mineral analysis, the omega-3 test, and we will link up the hair tissue mineral analysis to see if there's any heavy metals. We'll link up magnesium. We'll link up deep sleep protocol. We will link up vitamin C, and we will link up the adrenal soothe. Anything else I mentioned, we'll link that up as well. But remember, the information is there for you. I believe that in the year 2019, this year, we are not able to guess anymore. We're not able to say, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. We're able to figure it out exactly. We're able to personalize true wellness. And we talk a lot about biohacking, all these things. This is it. No need to biohack. Figure out your levels, figure out why, and get the exact plan for you. So hopefully this has been helpful. As always, I'm here for you. I mean, really, I answer questions on the weekends. You can go to CabralSupportGroup.com and ask a question. So thank you so much for being a part of this community. And as always, if this was helpful, please do feel free to share this information with anyone else you believe it could serve. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to StephenCabral.com/resources.